Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're continuing the Ayin. We're in Parshat Balak. In Pasuk Perek Chavdala, Pasuk Zayin, Bilam, in his many prophecies and brachas to Klal Yisrael, says a very interesting phrase: Yizal amayim midalav, water will flow from its wells. V'yorei ma'agag malchoi, and its king will be raised above King Agag. V'sinasei malchusai, and his kingdom will be raised. The word V'sinaseh is a language of raised. That's how Rashi understands this pasuk. And Rashi says this is a nevuah that Shaul HaMelech will capture Agag from Amalek, and after Shaul HaMelech, David HaMelech will come and make the malchus of Klal Yisrael even stronger. So Rashi points out that the word V'sinaseh is a language of Ram Venisa, raised, will be exalted, will be glorified. Tirgum Unkelis says, the Ayin, says that it's not to be read that the Malchus will be raised, rather V'sinitel Malchusei, the kingdom will be taken away from him. A reference that Shaul will lose the Malucha and will go to David. So the Ayin says, V'yesh lahavin, Lama loimitargem v'siroyim Malchusei. Why didn't Unkelis translate like the logical, the more seemingly sound interpretation or explanation that V'sinaseh means to be raised? Lahavin zeh, to understand why Unkelis felt that this pasuk was referencing that Shaul will lose the Melucha, we have to understand the following Maimer Chazal. And as we learned, Baruch Hashem, we've learned many pieces in the Heilige Ayin. Ayin always takes a pasuk and uses it as a method, as a vehicle to teach us Avdus Hashem. And here is no different. The Ayin focuses a lot, many of his Pirushim are focused on us being Anavim. As we're going to learn, one of the greatest traits that a person can have is to be an Anav. Being an Anav has a lot of different results for it. It helps a person in many different ways. Befrat, Avodas Hashem, as we're going to see, that a person who's an Anav gets a tremendous bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lahavin zeh. Hine yadu maimer chazal. It says in Pesachim, Daf Samech Vav Amud Beis, Kol hamiz go'eh, anybody who's about gaiva, im chacham hu chachmasa mistalekas mimeno. If he's a chacham, he loses his chachma. He loses his wisdom. Why? Hashem does not want to have any connection with the chacham. So very good. How does that affect his wisdom? Pirsha shchina mistalekas mimeno. He loses the shchina. K'mayim chazal ein ani v'hu yichol l'odor b'akachas. Ki ikar hashras hashchina, the ikar place that the shchina rests, hu as daka ushval ruach. The ikar kabbalas ol machashumayim, hu aydei b'chines anava. The way, right? Everybody wants to know, how do I be mekabel ol machashumayim? Right? We say in Shema twice a day that we're mekabel ol machashumayim. Right? We don't say it, but that's what Shema is. A person who's a bal gaiva can't be mekabel ol machashumayim. It doesn't fit. Right? A person who understands that he's nothing, that he's an Evet Hashem, whatever Hashem tells him, that's what he does. Right? He could be mekabel ol machashumayim. Now again, it's very important to point out, it's not that a person doesn't understand who he is, right? Even Moshe Rabbeinu, the biggest Anav, right, who said he was nothing, he understood that Hashem spoke to him. He knew that Hashem spoke to him. It wasn't that he didn't know, but he felt that I'm not different than anybody else. It's only because Hashem chose me to be the vehicle to lead Klal Yisrael. If Hashem would have chosen somebody else, I'd be nobody. So, on that fact, Moshe Rabbeinu understood that he was really nothing. All of that he had wasn't anything special. It was only because Hashem gave him. An Anav, even if he's smart, even if he's talented, he understands that it's only because Hashem gave it to him. Right? Even people that are bigger Anavim, that are less than that, they make nothing of themselves. The great tzaddikim were tremendous Anavim. Right? Obviously, when it came to keeping Torah mitzvahs, they fought like a lion. But with respect to their personal covet, Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul, he used to ride on the side of a motorcycle. He was the greatest Rosh Yeshiva of his time. No problem. The bus driver, when he would go on a bus, would ask him to help him move the mirror. Not chas v'shalom that the bus driver was being mizalzel. The bus driver was busy driving. He said to the person, please move the mirror so I could see the street better. But Tzin Abba Shaul made nothing of himself. He picked himself up and he moved the mirror. And people said, but what are you talking about? What are you doing? Cover Torah. He said, what do you mean? The guy needs a favor. Cover Torah, Shma Torah. I have to do chesed. And you see the great tzaddikim did not make any asik of themselves. Ve'oz, ein lo b'china shechicha. When a person does not have the Shekhinah, he automatically forgets whatever he learns. A person that has the Shekhinah has no Shechicha. Shechicha and the Shekhinah are two contradictory things. A person that has the Shekhinah, he has Siyata Deshmaya, and he has the ability to remember. That's why you go to great Talmidei Chachamim, great Tzaddikim, and you ask them a Shaila, even this is something that they learned 20 years ago, they'll answer to you like they learned it 5 minutes ago. Because the Shekhinah gives them the Siyata Deshmaya, gives them this unique ability to remember things. K'alidei hashras hashchina. This is one of the most important lines that you'll learn, and it was worth it for us to come together today to learn this line. K'alidei hashras hashchina yizbarach. Through the dwelling of the Shekhinah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on a person, on a Malchus, Nishba al Yisrael kol tuv u'bracha v'shefa achayim. A person gets all the goodness, bracha, shefa, life. I heard from two great tzaddikim. The biggest bracha that a person can have is that Hashem is with him, that he has Ashras Hashchina. If a person has Hashem with him, right, he has Siyata Deshmaya. Obviously, we all have Siyata Deshmaya, right? We can't go to the bathroom without having Siyata Deshmaya. We just don't appreciate it because it's normal day-to-day things. But if you understood that you can't even open the door, the handle, you can't even turn the doorknob unless you have Siyata Deshmaya, right? We would have a different outlook in life. Obviously, I'm talking to myself, right? We do things normal every day. We don't realize that every moment is a bracha of Hashem. But there's different levels of Siyata Deshmaya, and there's different levels of Ashras Hashchina. Reb Chaim Oizer, there's a story with Reb Chaim Oizer that he once asked a girl, she was saying, we say the tefillah after Havdalah, right? Give us this shar, give us shar bracha, shar mazel, shar this. He asked, what's the most important shar? She told him, shar is Siyata Deshmaya. Chaim Oizer said, emes. If you have Siyata Deshmaya, you have everything. And I heard from another tzaddik, I forgot his name at the moment, he said, the worst thing that a person could be is that Hashem is not with him. The best thing, the biggest thing that a person can have is that Hashem is with him. And that's what the Bas Ayin says, Ki alidei hashras hashchina yizbarach b'chinas malchusa nishpa. And that's only with somebody that is an anav. If a person is an anav, he's not a balgaiva, he doesn't make an asik of himself, whether he's rich, whether he's smart, whether he's strong, whether he's good looking, whether he has connections, he understands that it's all from Hashem, and I am just like everybody else, Hashem will be with him. Like the Shnabler Magid says in Sefer Ma'orinaim, a beautiful word. We know the famous saying, Ayin Mazel Yisrael. The Magid has a little bit of a knetch over here. He says the word Ayin is a lashon of nothingness. Ayin, there's nothing. He says that Ayin, nothingness, that's the mazel to Yisrael. When a person thinks of himself as nothing, then he has mazel. Pirush bechinas ayin, bechinas anav, uwa mazel Yisrael. Hainu kishi Yisrael heima, bechinas ayin, bechinas anava, then the mazel is mamshich, is raised, umashpi al Yisrael. Ki aidei shemekablam leim aidei anava, bechinas kabos umachashmai, b'shleimus, udveikim l'kedusha, memele balaim kol tov, v'nistalkum and kol mekatrikan. When a person is an anav and is mekabel omach hashemayim and he connects to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to Kedusha, then nothing can stop him. When a person understands ein oid malvadoi, right, and he understands I am nothing, there's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, b'chol oilamos, there's only Hashem. So automatically you make yourself nothing. When you're ayin, then you'll have mazel. That's what the Marinaim says. V'zeh shomar kosov. This is hinted in the famous fight that Yaakov Avinu had with the Malach. What was the fight about? So a lot of Pirushim say, besides on a practical understanding, it was a physical fight. It was also where the Malach was trying to get Yaakov Avinu to become a Balgaiva. And Yaakov Avinu fought him. And when did he win? In the morning. Vayavek ish imoy adaloy sashacha. Pirush aderech isa b'mar kadosh. Shechoyra aniv nova. Yud leis bechivri klal. A yud that has no white at all, pirshi bechinas anova she'ein roi ba'atzmei shum loiven or malam mirov shiflos b'kirboy. A person does not see any white in himself, which means white is always a lotion of cleanliness, of goodness, of purity. A person who's an anav says, I'm nothing. I don't even have any good traits. I have to keep on working on myself. Again, now it's important to point out that we're not chas v'shalom depressed. We're losers. We're nothing. No, we understand that we have, but it's good traits. But we also understand that it's not the be all and end all. We have to continue to work on ourselves, right? Whatever we have is only from Hashem, and that is a secret that Yaakov understood. And that, says the Ayin, was the fight that he had. And once he beat him, once he was able to destroy the Malach of Esav, then v'nimshal choy mazel v'shefa bracha. V'zehu pirush hapasuk yizal mayim medalav. Now we can understand, says the Ayin, with this hakdama, that a person who's an Anav has Hashras Hashchina and has bracha. Now when the pasuk says water will flow, yizal mayim medalav, water will flow from its wells. The word yizal, says the Ayin, is a play on the word mazel. Pirush yizal hu bechinas mazel shel Yisrael. Hu midalav. It comes from someone who's dal. You want to know how yizal mayim? Midalav comes from dalus, comes from a person who's an anav, right? Shefa will come from anava. V'ayidei zeh v'zaroi b'mayim rabim. He will be able to plant many seeds, which means he will have shefa, bracha, and chayim. V'yoroi ma'agag malchoi. So the Uncle says that in order for a person to have bracha, he has to be an anav. However, if a person raises himself as a balgaiva, like Amalek, like Agag, like Shaul did, then he will lose his malchus. So Uncle translates the pasuk in a beautiful way. Uncle teaches us that the pasuk says, Yizal mayim midolav. You want to have mazel, you want to have bracha, mayim is life, mayim is ruchnius, is cleanliness, then midolav. It has to come from a place of anava. However, v'yoroi magal malkoi, those that are a balgaiva from the family, from the area of Agag, then has to be v'tinosei malchusoi, his malchus will be taken away from him. Al Yisrael, however, Klal Yisrael, if they will be b'shleimus anova, nobody will be able to stop them. We'll have achdus, nobody will think he's better than the other person, nobody will think that he should do this and the other person shouldn't do that, nobody will think that this area is better than that area. At that point, a person and Klal Yisrael will have shefa bracha. So as a reminder, as one of the most important brachas that a person can have and can inspire, is that Hashem should be with him. If Hashem is with him, then he has everything. And the way to do that is to be davak b'Hashem v'Torah v'minas chasadim, to copy in the ways of Hashem. If a person does that, then he will have shefa, bracha, chayim v'chol tov.